Some clubs have been hoarding football talent for years. It's becoming a little bit of a problem, and it's fairly easy to call them loan farms. They are clubs that will basically sign players, hope that they develop, and either sell them off for a profit or they'll become part of their first team. Yay! It's a sort of accuracy through volume strategy, but in the coming years, this could give Leeds a perfect opportunity because changes in football rules could be absolutely perfect for Leeds' transfer strategy in the coming years. So, hi, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about the issue with loan farms, what the big sort of problem with them is. It's pretty big. The most egregious example of any loan farms, what the incoming changes effectively mean for these loan farms and clubs like Leeds United, and how exactly that hugely benefits Leeds for the foreseeable future, if we can take advantage of it. But first, subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. I'm still doing the thing where at the start of the season, for every subscriber that is a part of my channel, I will donate 1p to Prostate Cancer UK as part of my Like, Wake, Walk thing. It's one click and you're effectively giving to charity. That'd be fantastic. Thank you. Anyway, the issue with loan farms is a pretty big one. You've got clubs like Chelsea and Manchester City that have become known for buying up talent and hoarding players. Effectively, Chelsea are the prime example of this. They will browse the world for young players and go, right, we'll sign you, and you. And we'll just throw money at the issue. And it'll eventually work out because the idea is to loan these players out over time. And within this, the good players will stick around at the club and get plenty of minutes and develop into the footballer they always wanted to be. And the less good players will get sold, ideally for a profit for that club, but at times not sold at all, released on a free. Lewis Baker comes to mind as another person that I would arguably call a victim of these big loan farms. Eventually, through sheer volume of players, it's profitable for them because eventually you're going to stumble on a gem that covers the next 10 players. But the problem is with playing time for the players, they're not able to fully develop, especially if you're stuck on Chelsea's bench as one of the people that doesn't quite go out on loan, but isn't quite in the first team. It's not a good place to be, and it basically causes your career to stagnate, and it is actively affecting other clubs too. So if you consider Chelsea, I'll get into them in a minute, but spread their talent out a little bit wider across a bunch of other clubs that would actually play these players, and the competitive nature of the league would shoot up because they're very, very good footballers. They are, in fact, the wildest example. Chelsea. Football rules say that in the Premier League you're allowed a 25-man squad, and that does exclude under 21 players, and I think off the top of my head it's 17 players without homegrown players. There's a bunch of various rules and regulations, but the gist is 25 players. And I saw a graphic the other day that I thought was pretty bad. This is the Chelsea squad for this season. This is all the senior players on their books. I counted, and they have 44 players in their senior squad. Now, you got to consider from this that a hell of a lot of these players will go out on loan. So, for example, you can see Alfie Gilchrist there. They've got 7 goalkeepers. I imagine a few of those will go out on loan. David Fofana is apparently looking for a move. They've still got Romelu Lukaku, who I don't know if he's found a move or not, but it's a weird case. But whilst a hell of a lot of these players will go out on loan, many of them will also sort of rot on the bench instead. They won't find the minutes, they won't find the ability to develop because they won't have had any of the football that they need to do so. And I'll be honest, very clearly this needs to change because it's ruining players' careers, it's ruining the competitive nature of the league because a bunch of other clubs are unable to sign players that they would potentially need. And that's where FIFA agreed, and FIFA have made a pretty big rule change. The specific wording of the rule is teams can have a maximum of 8 professionals loaned out and 8 loaned in at any given time in the 22-23 season. The seasons following that number decreased, which means that from 24-25 onwards, this coming season, you're allowed to loan out 6 players and loan in 6 players. Specifically, this refers to international loans. It doesn't refer to domestic stuff, and it does sort of explain the multi-club networks popping up. So instead of loaning, in theory, Chelsea could just sort of sell to Strasbourg and then have a buyback, which is, I feel, going to become more of a problem in the coming years that FIFA's going to have to deal with, but they've not dealt with it yet because it's FIFA and they don't really deal with problems. But FIFA have also mandated that individual nations have to do the same by next season, which means by 25-26, These loan farms are functionally useless because you can only loan out 6 players any given season, whether that's international or domestic. And in my opinion, this hugely benefits Leeds United. Sorry for any lag. For some reason, StreamYard hates me today. Basically, this hugely benefits Leeds because players in these systems are great footballers, but they're effectively unproven. They are players that have been signed because they've got a really high ceiling and a lot of potential, but they've not had the opportunity to get those minutes. And when they have had minutes, they've been sort of rotational or off the bench or on loan. They'll be looking for experience at a championship level or a lower Premier League level. And that experience used to come in the form of loans, but as we know, that change in the loan system means that they're unable to find loans. Look, you're only able to loan out 6, that gets you to 38. You're still 13 over the limit. Yeah, there might be a few under 21s in there, but there's not going to be 13 of them. And that means there will be a rush to sell players, which is absolutely fantastic for a club like Leeds, who I feel like next season will be doing a lot of moving to try and sign players. Prices will fall because the options on the market will increase, because clubs will be selling players they didn't think they would need to or want to sell. Looking at Gilchrist, for example, it's unlikely that he's going to stick around because I don't know if he's going to be part of that core 25 or if he even gets in that loan position. Very complex for them, and it is the perfect storm of players that are roughly at our level or higher that will be going for good prices. And this is likely to come into full force next season, but there is still going to be space for Leeds United to act early, because clubs will see next season we need to sell a lot of players. I wonder if we can mitigate that by selling some this season. So with all that considered, the question is it really viable for Leeds? And in my opinion, it's very viable. It is a very effective strategy that would work absolutely perfectly for us. We can start leveraging it this season by connecting with Premier League loanees, potentially signing players on loan that would be sold next year anyway. Getting those bonds built with decent footballers like we did with Joe Rodon, sign him on loan because they'll have to sell him at some point anyway. And we use those connections next season for permanent signings, hopefully with the idea that we're in the Premier League. We do need a good season now to take full advantage of that. We need to ideally get promoted. So we've got a chunky budget at our backs to do so. But I genuinely think that we are in a very good position to make some good loan signings this season and convert them into permanent deals next year, if everything goes to plan. That's a potentially big if. But at the end of the day, that's only what I think, and a combination of various rules and regulations and all that. So I kind of know what you think. Well, I kind of want to know what you think. Sorry, my words are blending here. Let me know in the comments down below whether or not you think that Leeds will be able to take full advantage of this, or it's something that could be a little bit of a struggle going forwards. Let's have a little bit of a chat over what you think the role of loanees is. Is it going to get less important? And anything about this, basically. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe as well if you enjoy my videos in general. That's always massively appreciated. You could even become a channel member. It's 99p a month, and at the moment all of that is going to Prostate Cancer UK as well until the start of the season. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. Ta-ra. Now I've got to get on a train. I am travelling too much right now. See you later.